Good morning, everybody, and happy Easter. We are looking at an unprecedented 5 tornado warnings at the same time in central Louisiana. This energy is moving to the east-northeast. This is where we're at. See on the map right here, just across the East Texas border into Louisiana. And this energy will be moving up into Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee in just a matter of hours. These storms are going to persist all day, off and on. We could see tornadic outbreaks at times, kind of like we're seeing here. These are all tornado warnings in these red rectangles issued by the National Weather Service out of Shreveport, Louisiana. And these storms, or at least the leading edge, where these tornadoes have been spotted either on radar or on the ground. One I actually recorded before I started the live stream, and it was one of the most classic tornado signatures I'd ever seen on radar, and that was just south of Shreveport, near the Stonewall area, right in there. And I'll show you here in just a second. I actually recorded it. Tornado warning remains in effect until 11 a.m. local time. That would be another 30 minutes or so. They're talking about a radar-confirmed damaging tornado. At one point, this area was under a PDS, a particularly dangerous situation, and they were advising people, and still are, in the line of these storms to take shelter immediately. Ideally, it would be a basement. I know not everybody has a basement. Not a basement, then an interior room, preferably with no windows, but if not, an interior room. And here's where we're at. We're just east of Shreveport, Louisiana, and that would be in the northwest, north central part of Louisiana. And again, you can see which direction this stuff is moving. See how fast it's moving at about, wow, in that particular case, this cell is moving at 64 knots. Unreal. The communities in the tornado warnings would include Arcadia, and these are all in Louisiana. Arcadia, Athens, Lisbon, Sibley, Heffin, Ringgold, Bineville, Bryceland, Lucky. It'd be Lucky, Louisiana. I learned something new every time I come on here. I didn't know we had a Lucky, Louisiana. What else do we have here? Edgefield, Coushatta, Martin, and Ashland. And we have Goldana over here on the far edge. But these storms are moving at an incredible pace. 63 knots. Are you serious? The good thing about it, they're moving very quickly. But this is going to manifest into a large wind field today. Wouldn't surprise me if there weren't somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 million customers without electricity today, based off of the size and scope of these storms. And the wind field is going to be absolutely massive, extending all the way up into Pennsylvania. It's going to be very, very windy today. And another thing you have to take into consideration, the leaves are in pretty much full bloom on most of the trees. Those make excellent canopies for very high wind. So the wind could easily blow trees into power lines. I mean, these things are really moving. 62 knots. Unreal. There's one 48 knots. That's more typical. Still pretty quick. Mesocyclone there. Right now, the action has started. It started out in Texas early this morning, and these things are moving very, very quickly. And this is just the first of many, and I'll show you why. What we're looking at that determines whether or not there could be a chance for severe weather. This is the enhanced satellite over here at the GOES 16, and you can see the very same storms moving through north central eastern Texas and north central Louisiana, even parts of south central Arkansas. They're moving very, very quickly. We go over here to ventusky.com. The burgundies you see here on the map, those represent atmospheric like instability, the lifted index. There's several components that make up severe weather and storms that could be tornadic or carry large hail. These storms can produce anything on the menu. If you can think of it and it's related to a storm, it could probably do it today at some point, somewhere. High winds, flash flooding, very large hail. Not to exclude small hail, absolutely small hail, but the possibility of very large hail is enhanced today because these storms are going to reach unbelievable heights at times. And then, of course, tornadic activity. That's right now. If we step it forward to 11 a.m., that's another 3 hours. You can see all of this energy still here. Atmospheric instability, and look where it moves. Basically nowhere. It's still there. And this is at 2 o'clock this afternoon. That would be my time. 4 o'clock in some areas. Out east here, look at that. Just ongoing. And this is going to continue throughout the afternoon, evening, and into the overnight hours. So could see a lot of action today covering multiple states. At one time here at windy.com, there were 30 plus, I think 32 states under some type of severe, not necessarily severe, but a weather alert for today. Over 30 states. Let me see if I can find it. We got the extreme forecast. I'm at windy.com. Let me see if I can find what I had earlier. It was showing severe weather over 30 states. It's not letting me go there right now. I'll find it here in just a second, but it was quite astonishing. Here we go. Weather warnings. Look at this. This is at windy.com for today. How about that? Have you ever seen a map look like that? That's what I'm talking about with regard to the high wind field. Look at that. I just clicked on Ohio. High wind watch. All day today. And that's going to cover the entire area you see here in yellow and orange. So when I said a big wind field, I was probably being conservative. It's huge. So look for power outages in these areas. Just an incredible weather day. The setup is definitely steered towards the severe side. Hail reports, we're looking at hail already, and it's early. More than likely, this is going to extend all the way up once this map starts accumulating data all the way up through Mississippi, Arkansas, Tennessee, of course, Alabama, Atlanta, and the North Georgia area, and then all up the East Coast. We'll probably see wind reports, quite possibly even tornadoes here and there. Wouldn't surprise me if there weren't a cluster of tornadoes today based off of what we're seeing here. At least the potential's definitely there. So have a plan. Interior room with no glass. Basement is a perfect place to be during tornadoes, but we don't all have basements. I understand that completely. So just have a plan. Be ready. We're going to follow these tornadoes like we always do. They're going to be here today. For sure. There's already been multiple tornado warnings, and look for many more. Right now we're in north central Louisiana. Storm system moving up into Arkansas, soon to be over in Mississippi, and then up into western Tennessee. And we're going to keep track of these things as they're moving through the southern states, the Tennessee River Valley, the Mississippi River Valley. Large hail, high winds. Over here you can see the green. See these green corrals? I think that's flash flood warning for the next hour, just a little over an hour. National Weather Service out of Shreveport, Louisiana. Flash flood warning. That means it's ongoing. The difference between, like say for instance, a flash flood watch and a flash flood warning. A watch means it could happen. Conditions are favorable for the possibility thereof. A flash flood warning means it is happening. That's the difference between the two, in case you didn't know. Most of you probably already knew that. Doppler radar is indicating thunderstorms producing flash flooding in these areas here, and that extends back into eastern Texas, in the Tyler area, Longview, Jacksonville, Texas, and then right on the Texarkana, Louisiana state line, Texas state line, Marshall, Nesbitt, Jefferson. Is that uncertain? Really? Man, I learn something new every time I come on here with regard to a name in a state. Uncertain, that would be, boy, it's hard to tell. I'm going to say that's in Texas, right? Yeah, right there. There's Texarkana. So that would be on the state. No way. Are you serious? Come on. Atlanta, Texas? Really? I didn't know that. I had no idea we had an Atlanta, Texas. I'll be darned. Like I said, I learn something new every time I follow storms on here. A new name of a town that I had no idea existed. Atlanta, Texas. Okay. I mean, with all the names available, I think we could be a little more creative. That's cool, though, whatever. But anyway, flash flood warning for East Texas going into western Louisiana. Long line of very powerful thunderstorms that looks to be in the neighborhood of 50,000 foot. That can produce baseball-size hail pretty easily if it wanted to. Got to have the updraft, though. The stronger the updraft, the bigger the possibility of the hail. 100-mile-an-hour updrafts will generally produce baseball-size hail. Get up into the 120 range, and you can get softball-size hail if conditions are favorable. You got to have the moisture and some other variables involved. But the main thing is the updraft. And speaking of updraft, here's the tornado earlier. See right here? That right hook that's going into, that's intake. Air is going into the circulation, the mesocyclone. Watch this. See if I can slow it down. Right there it is. See the very obvious wraparound. That's a tornado right there. Right there. See that? That would be southeast of Stonewall, Louisiana. And that was around 8:30 my time. So that would have been around 10:30 out there. See, that's a tornado. Classic tornado. That's why they had the tornado warning issued for that area. Look at that. That's what a tornado looks like. And that one's easy to spot. A lot of them aren't as easy to see as that one right there because of all of the activity on here with regard to, wind and moisture and sometimes base reflectivity. When you get around cities like here, it's difficult sometimes to spot those tornadoes, but that one was very easy to see. Now, whether it touched down or not, I don't know. You don't know right off the bat. This is in real time, but whether or not the tornado touched down, you don't always know. Sometimes you can tell. I saw one in Mississippi about 3 weeks ago. You could just tell by looking at the radar that it did definitely touch down because you could see debris at the tops of the clouds. That's about the only way you can tell from this perspective. Unless you have people on the ground doing real-time reporting from a safe location. But up here, looking from up above on radar like this, you have to be able to see debris in the tops of the clouds. There's a new tornado warning right there. They just extended this one for Lucky, Louisiana, Saline, Louisiana. There's Lucky. Lucky's getting some very heavy rainfall right now. But there's an example right there. It's raining so hard, and the cloud density is so thick, if there were a tornado in that area, which there very well could be, the National Weather Service has posted a tornado warning for that area, it would be rain-wrapped. It would be so difficult to see, even from the ground. Let's read the new warning that expires in 36 minutes from the National Weather Service out of Shreveport, Louisiana. Those guys and gals are very, very busy right now. They extended the previous tornado warning. Says the tornado warning remains in effect until 11:15 a.m. Central Daylight Time for southeastern Vineville Parish. At 10:35 a.m., a confirmed tornado was located 17 miles southeast of Ringgold. Let me read this to you again. And that is a confirmed tornado 17 miles southeast of Ringgold or 19 miles west of Jonesboro. Moving northeast at 55 miles an hour. Unreal. Damaging tornado locations impacted include Saline, Lucky, Bineville, Friendship, and Liberty Hill. Precautions. They're advising people to, and this is from the National Weather Service, take cover now if you're in those areas. Lowest floor of your building, dwelling, wherever you may be. If you're in an apartment building and you're in a tornado warning and they're advising you to move to a basement or a lower level, that would probably be the best thing to do. Got hail in excess of 3/4 inch. And there was a confirmed tornado in that area. This is going to be a repetitive pattern off and on most of the day into the nighttime hours. There could be nocturnal tornadoes tonight over here in the possibly Georgia area, up into parts of northwestern South Carolina, western North Carolina, Virginia, Lexington, or the eastern Kentucky area, West Virginia, all of Tennessee today. I think early on in the day will be western Tennessee, and then later on in the evening and quite possibly after dark, we're looking at activity in eastern Tennessee. Right now, this system here is juiced. I mean, it is really, really primed. Unreal. Heavy rain in places coming down at incredible rates. Probably, if it were stationary, 2 to 3 inch per hour rates. But the good thing is they're moving very, very quickly. But they're recycling. This is going to continue. There's a strong presence of atmospheric instability in these areas here. Wind shear and lift and the moisture. All the components needed for severe weather, especially tornadoes that can create rotation. Here's another tornado warning. Expires in 18 minutes. National Weather Service once again out of Shreveport. Tornado warning remains in effect until 11 a.m. Radar indicated tornado, and they're advising people to take cover now. The areas impacted by this storm include Bryceland, Bineville, Jamestown, Bryce, Sales, and Castor. And those are all in Louisiana. And that tornado warning expires in 18 minutes. Let's check out this one here that expires also in 18 minutes. National Weather Service out of Shreveport, Louisiana. Tornado warning remains in effect until 11 a.m. That would be Central Time. Tornado was located near Gibbsland, 9 miles east of Minden, moving northeast at a staggering 65 miles per hour. That's just nuts. I don't know how else to even describe it. That is nuts. The dangerous storm will be near Arcadia around 10:35, so it's in that area now. Arcadia, in fact, it's right there's Arcadia. It is directly over Arcadia right now as we speak. Athens, it just went through. It's headed towards Lisbon. They're getting some heavy rain right now, moderate to heavy. The dark orange is very heavy. Doesn't really rain much harder than that, where you see these areas of red, dark orange. I mean, it is really coming down hard to where, more than likely, if these storms were moving slower, then you would see flash flood alerts for these areas here. But the only reason that there aren't is because they're moving so very, very quickly. Now, these storms down here are moving a little slower, like 41 knots, 40 knots. I mean, that's about average, maybe a little above average. There's one at 31 knots. I would say that's about average. 65 mile an hour is just unreal. But sometimes in a good way. It gets the storms and very, very heavy rain that can cause flooding out of the area quickly. But then again, it just moves into another area if it stays organized. And these storms are definitely staying organized, producing hail in some locations. Nothing super big yet, half inch. You guys have all dealt with half-inch hail. That's pretty common. If it hails, it's going to be pea size, half-inch size. You guys have all seen that. It's that jumbo hail, the baseball, softball, teacup size, that you don't even want to be anywhere near that stuff. coming down at over 100 miles per hour. No way. Reach out and see if we've got any new activity. None yet, as this is just getting started, but this is going to be an all-day event. You're going to see tornado warnings over multiple states, more than likely creating at least the possibility thereof multiple power outages. Multi-state power outage event is very possible, simply because of the very high wind field. It's so big. It's going to cover multiple states, and once again, east of the Mississippi, most of the trees are in bloom. So all of the leaves are going to act as canopies, like parachutes, if you will. They're going to catch a lot of air. And the more air they catch, the more resistance it creates, and the better chance those roots have of coming loose in the soil. And then if it's raining and the soil is saturated, that tree or trees could easily come down. So, especially full bloom like that, it's like a parachute. And you've got 60, 70 mile an hour winds. It's going to catch a lot of wind. That's not even talking about a tornado. That's just winds from these storms. They're overachievers. They're going to be overachieving all day because they have the components available to do so. And that atmospheric instability is definitely there, and it's going to be present for the next at least 24 hours in most of the same locations. Right now we're in north central Louisiana, moving to the northeast up into Arkansas, be headed towards the Mississippi area. Later on this afternoon, in fact, it's getting close to lunchtime in parts of that area. Up in the Memphis area, Jackson, Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee. Hopefully there's no tornadoes up there. It's the last thing they need. Nobody needs a tornado, but the atmosphere definitely has an opportunity to produce a lot of tornadoes today, for sure. Half-inch hail moving at 40 knots. Storm here is moving at... No way. That can't be right. Is that right? Look at this. 90 knots? Holy cow. I'm going to take a screenshot of that. Look at that. 90 knots. That's over 100 miles per hour. 90 knots to over 100 miles per hour right here. Wow. I mean, that's almost got to be detecting tornado, right? But it's implying, the way this reads, is that the storm, there it is right there, that's the track of the storm, see? Storm track, speed, 90 knots. Unreal. That's a first. I mean, every time I come on here, I see things. I learn something new every time, but I had no idea a storm system could move at over 100 miles per hour. I knew it could create winds of over 100 miles per hour. Everybody knew that. Maybe that's detecting a tornado. Almost have to be. Let me click on that again. That's still there. 90 knots. That's just over 100 miles per hour. That is unbelievable. So that atmosphere is very juiced, to say the least. Here's another one here south of Ashland. That's hail, showing half-inch hail. And half-inch hail is marble size or something like that. You guys have all experienced that. Wow, 90 knots. The storm that is 90 knots is near Lucky and Saline, Louisiana, and that would be southeast of Shreveport, right over here. See Shreveport here? Right there, Shreveport. Go down here. 90 knots. Unbelievable. Never seen anything like that. Uh-oh, we've got another new tornado warning, or this one's been extended. Probably the one that's got 90 knots. Yeah, they just extended it. See the new rectangle here? Right there it is. Now it includes the communities of Chatham, okay, Eros, hope I pronounced that right, Quitman, Jonesboro, and Hodge. And these are all in north central Louisiana. Let's get the update from the National Weather Service. Tornado warning expires in 25 minutes. National Weather Service out of Shreveport, Louisiana. Tornado warning for Jackson Parish in north central Louisiana. Southeastern Bineville Parish in northwestern Louisiana. Until 11:15 a.m. CDT, Central Daylight Time. At 10:44, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Jonesboro, moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. Radar indicated rotation, flying debris. This is a tornadic thunderstorm. Take cover now if you're in these areas. Let's see if we can find that storm back here by Lucky and Saline. I'm sure the data set has changed now. Now it's at 77 knots. So it's come down from 90 to 77, which is still, 80 miles per hour. I mean, that is just incredible. No joke. That really is. We got maximum hail size of 3/4 inch, so it's getting a little bigger, but nothing super huge, at least that we've seen on here or that's been reported. You got to keep in mind that during these thunderstorms, a lot of the hail occurs in areas that are not populated. So, like the largest hail ever discovered was 8 inches up in South Dakota. Well, that's the largest one ever discovered. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean it's the only one that's ever been 8 inches. There could have been some bigger that were never found, Yeah, this storm here went from 90, that's 100 miles an hour, down to 77. So I'm assuming that was accurate. This is always a very accurate source of information. It comes from the National Weather Service. It doesn't get any better than that. So, yeah, if it said 90, then that's what they're detecting, 90. They input the data. Wow, that's incredible. Woo! Yeah, Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas, and that's not to exclude many other states. Georgia, Tennessee, parts of Kentucky. Obviously, Arkansas is getting in the activity right now. Eastern and southeastern Oklahoma. A wide area, possibly the Florida Panhandle. Mike Martin asked me, what's the worst storm I've seen or heard of? Well, that was the fastest I'd ever seen. I have to be honest, and I've been doing this for a long time. I've never seen a storm move at over 100 miles per hour unless it was detecting rotation. But that's not the data point. The data point is the track movement of the storm. So I'm just taking it in the literal sense of what it said, 90 knots. It's 103 miles per hour to be exact. That's the strongest forward speed I've ever seen. With regard to thunderstorms, I mean, there's been a lot of, I don't know. I don't really know. I've seen some really big ones in Texas, I will say, and up in Kansas and parts of Oklahoma would probably be the areas I've seen the biggest and tallest thunderstorms. They're always very strong through here in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Arkansas. There's already been 2 tornadoes in Arkansas in the less than 2 weeks. Jonesboro, and then another community not far from Jonesboro, another tornado touched down. So it's been a very active year so far for tornadoes. Probably one of the strongest, though, was in Joplin, Missouri, back in, I think it was 2011. The EF5 tornado that went through there, that was probably, I think, the strongest I'd ever seen. Hurricane, it's right up there, Irma, and then, of course, Dorian. Those were, and Irma, I would have to say, in some regards, was stronger because it made the 4,000-mile journey across the transatlantic, the Atlantic Ocean basin from Africa all the way over to Florida, which is 4,000 miles. And it maintained a Cat 5 strength for a few days. Granted, Dorian was a very strong storm, but that Irma was just in a league all of its own. Now, so was Dorian too. So, and then you've got Hurricane Harvey, and not to, underestimate any of the other big ones that we've seen. Harvey was an incredible rainmaker because it stalled. If it was moving like these storms here, very quickly, it wouldn't have done that. But it stalled, produced 60 inches of rain. It's just things that, are even hard to say. That storm produced 60 inches of rain. That's 5 feet. I mean, you would have never dreamt you would see something like that, but yet it occurred. So, a lot of activity right now, though. This is a strong system here. And I'll say, with regard to the atmosphere that I'm looking at, that I see over here at Ventusky, that's very strong, guys. The data points are at the top of their respective charts in many different data sets. So the potential is definitely there. Here at one time, I took a screen grab before I went on the live, and you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tornado warnings in the Shreveport, Louisiana area at the same time. 5. And that's probably what today is going to look like over a very wide area all day long. And this energy is moving east, northeast. Some of these storm systems are moving very, very quickly. This is a severe thunderstorm warning, expires in 48 minutes. For immediate broadcast from the National Weather Service, Shreveport, they are very, very busy. All of these areas here, Union County, Jackson Parish, and Union County is in south central Arkansas. We'll go up there and take a look around here in a minute. Eastern Claiborne, Lincoln Parish, Alchita Parish until 11:45 a.m. Severe thunderstorms located along a line extending 7 miles west of Junction City to 13 miles southwest of Jonesboro, moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. Wind gusts of 60 miles per hour and penny-sized hail are associated with this severe thunderstorm right here. Covers a very wide area, extends all the way from El Dorado down to, my goodness, south of Jonesboro, which is in the middle of a tornado warning right now as we speak. How far is that distance here? That's 75 miles. New tornado warning. Now we have 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think is this the newest one? No, that one expires in 1 minute. Is this the new one? There's a lot of activity on here. That one expires in 31. I think it is this one right here. Let's look and see. New tornado warning. Expires in 31 minutes. Until 11:30. I'm trying to find the times here. There's so many numbers on here. Holy cow. It's going to be busy today. 10:56, so it would be this one here. This is a new tornado warning issued by the National Weather Service out of Shreveport, southwestern Union Parish, south central Claiborne Parish, northeastern Bineville Parish, and central Lincoln Parish until 11:30 a.m. Central Time. At 10:55, a tornado-producing storm was located near Arcadia, and that would be in Louisiana, 9 miles northwest of Grambling, moving northeast at 35 miles per hour. 35 is about average, really. 25, 35. And the tornadic storm will be near Ruston, Louisiana, at around 11:10 a.m. And Ruston is, we can find Ruston. Where's Ruston? There's Vienna. Lisbon, Arcadia. It's in this area here. It's a very strong storm, very strong downpours there too. And it makes it hard when there's this much intense rain. That is very intense rainfall right there near Graham. There's Ruston right there. Okay, that's what they're talking about. There's the tornadic storm right here. Just went through Grambling, headed towards Ruston. But it's raining so hard, it's difficult to get a read right here on any possible rotation. It's very challenging to see that. It really is. You cannot see the rotation in there, if there is any. Let's see how fast this storm system's moving. So this one's at 37 knots, half-inch hail. Pretty normal. There's 4 tornado warnings right in here, and we are directly east of Shreveport, Louisiana, and all of this energy is moving towards the... Uh-oh. See that right there? Some of that could be intake into here, and that's probably what they're looking at. Intake, outflows. You're looking for a wind machine. That's what you're looking for, basically. But when there's so much VIL, it's hard to see the meso. VIL is a vertical integrated liquid. Sometimes it's 100%, and that's a 100% column of water. So you're not going to see, that would be a rain-wrapped tornado if there was one there. But anyway, 1 tornado warning expired, which is great. But we still have 3 that we're dealing with in north central Louisiana, moving towards Mississippi and Arkansas. We're going to take a look at both of those areas here in just a moment. We're watching these tornadoes, and I'm looking for mesocyclone signatures here to possibly maybe confirm one. Wow, 64 knots. That is insane. Look at that. That is just really, really fast. I mean, that's as fast as the speed limit on a major interstate almost. Unreal. All right, storms moving through Hodge and North Hodge, Jonesboro, and that would be Jonesboro, Louisiana. And we also have a Jonesboro, Arkansas, but that's Jonesboro, Louisiana, which is due east, slightly southeast of Shreveport. And more than likely, these tornado warnings are going to be extended up into northeastern Louisiana, northwestern and north central Mississippi. It's where we saw a confirmed tornado on the ground a couple of weeks ago. And it was in this area right here. Don't remember the exact name of the community, but you could tell on radar that it was over here by the Alabama-Mississippi border. I remember that now. Right in this area here. In fact, there's a severe thunderstorm warning right there. Expires in 27 minutes. We need to come over and check that out. But you could tell that there was a tornado on the ground based off of the radar signature. Let's go over to... Right now, we still have 3 tornado warnings in central Louisiana. I think we need to hop up into Arkansas, right? See all this energy moving into Arkansas? But this is going to continue through Louisiana into to Mississippi, Alabama here in a few hours. It's already starting, actually. It's going to be a big day, guys. Big weather day. Holy mackerel. Okay. Where are we at? Little Rock? Yeah, we'll check out Little Rock. Oh, my. Okay, most of that is moderate showers. But let's see how fast some of these storms are moving at probably an incredible speed. It's showing, it's got a meso signature, but 47 knots, that's not unheard of. 47 knots. 62 knots. Unreal. Oh, wow, here's another one. Look at that. Look for yourself. 75 knots. That's 80 mile an hour. Are you serious? Woo! Oh my. Okay, look at all this activity. Now, we don't have any... now we're in Arkansas, guys. We are in south, central, and southeastern Arkansas. And you can see this covers a large portion of the state of Arkansas. The majority of it, though, is moderate rain. You know, that's not a big deal. We've all experienced that. But down here, we're starting to get into some amplified signatures. Some of this is looking strong. There's a report here. It looks like river and creek flooding, and that would be north of Hampton, Arkansas. Where else? South of Thornton, Arkansas. Looks like it's out in a rural area. Getting some very heavy rain, and that's what most of this is, just very moderate to heavy rain. Nothing super severe yet, but these storms are moving along at a fairly good clip, 62 knots. We saw one down here that was 75 knots, and that is confirmed from the National Weather Service. That's 80 miles an hour, just over 80. Half-inch hail. Most of these storms are producing some sort of hail, whether it be pea size, marble size, penny size. Right now, nothing super big that I've seen, which is good, but the day's early. There's 31 knots, 45 knots. That's typical. That's very in the average zone. Anything above 70 mile an hour. Oh, that's what was going through Ohio a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, there was storms moving through there that were moving linear at 80 miles an hour. That's not counting the wind. I think the storms were moving faster than the wind they were producing. Just amazing. And we're seeing the same thing today in certain storms, not all of them. Right now we're in Arkansas. This is where we're at. South central and southeastern Arkansas and parts of northwestern Mississippi, where they're starting to see some rain showers. Here's a storm in northwestern Mississippi that's moving along at a meager 68 knots, about 75 miles an hour. Unreal. Look at that. That's the storm track speed, moving in a northeast direction at 68 knots. Just incredible. But right now, nothing super severe in the Arkansas area, which is good. Moderate to heavy rain, and more than likely some high winds. I'm pretty certain that there's high winds covering a large area in Arkansas. It's going to be a multi-state event today. If you missed it earlier, I showed over 30 states at windy.com under some type of weather alert for today, whether it be a high wind watch, severe thunderstorm, tornado, flash flood. Everything on the menu today, covering, in some places, looking at snow. Up in the northern tier, 5 to 8 inches of snow in some areas. Thunder snow, snow that includes lightning and thunder. Speaking of thunder, I got a video from Christopher out of, I might show it in this video. He is from West Virginia. Not exactly sure, doesn't matter. He sent me a video a couple days ago of thunder that lasted actually longer than 2 minutes straight. He recorded it. He had his phone pointed to the sky, sent it to me, and much like the speed, the forward speed of some of these storms, like I've never seen one over 100 mile an hour, but I just did. He was listening to thunder for 2 minutes straight, nonstop, and got it on video. I might share it in this video or another weather video that we do. But he was correct. The thunder did not stop. In fact, it was still going when he turned off his video. Just incredible. 2 minute rolling thunder, nonstop. Okay, we're going to hop back down to Louisiana where there's tornadoes. Real quick, guys. Where are we at? Shreveport. Actually, we might want to move to... Going to be moving over into Mississippi here probably in a little bit. Right now we're going to go to Shreveport. Okay. Still have now 2 tornado warnings. Looks like a couple of the same ones. Eros. Boy, that storm there, it's got some strength. If you're in Eros, Louisiana, Vienna, Louisiana, Downsville. Boy, those are some incredibly strong storms. Tornado warning expires in 5 minutes. Northeastern Jackson Parish, radar indicated tornado. Storm down here is moving at 62 knots. 57. Just checking some of these speeds. Man, they're moving incredibly fast. Haven't seen any giant hail yet, but the energy is definitely there for it. Still early. Noon on the East Coast. The day is just getting started, and the atmosphere, if it wants to, has the potential to do this over and over all day long in a variety of different states. We're talking Louisiana, which we've already seen activity there. I haven't got any confirmations of tornadoes touching the ground, but we've had multiple tornado warnings in Louisiana, north central Louisiana, in the last 45 minutes. And that type of weather will continue all day long. Unreal. Over into Mississippi, Alabama, especially north central Alabama, north central Mississippi. Very probable tornadoes today. At least the chances are very good for tornadoes. The atmosphere is looking at all of the tools it needs to make tornadoes. Has them all available if it wants them. Hopefully it won't, but I'm just saying it's more than likely. It's probable instead of possible. And sometimes it's possible and not probable. Well, this is one of those days where it's probable. Yes, sir. There's a storm there moving at a meager 79 knots. That is well in excess of 80 miles per hour. Are you serious? Since when did that start? I mean, hurricanes don't even move that fast. Forward speed, I think the fastest moving hurricane I'd ever seen was around 50. Thunderstorms, I understand they're a totally different weather phenomenon, but still, 80, 90, which we just saw one 100 miles an hour. Woo! That's got to be setting a record somewhere. Unreal. And these storms are reaching now. They're starting to extend over into Mississippi. We just looked at Arkansas, where right now they're just seeing moderate to heavy rain in places. Nothing super severe yet. Doesn't mean it can't happen. Starting to move over into Mississippi, where it could get very active here any minute, really. Next hour. This afternoon's going to be very interesting in parts of Mississippi. So hopefully you guys, if you're listening or if you know anybody in Mississippi, or if you're in north central Mississippi, especially around, in fact, let's just go over there and take a little look around. We can go to Jackson. That would be ideal. There we go. Yeah, in this area here where the storms are starting to make their way into Mississippi. See how fast they're moving. 56. Wow, 56 down to 34. There's one 61 knots. 64 knots. That's over 70 miles an hour. There you go. Here's another one. Look at that. 74 knots. Seeing a lot of these anomalous looking forward speeds, and they're not anomalies. Those are coming from the pros, man. It doesn't get any better than that. So the source is good. These storms are moving at incredible speeds. 62 knots, and this is starting to be a pattern here. 60 knots. 74, that's one we just saw. Oh my gosh, look at that one. Look, here's another one. Check it out. 88 knots. You saw it here. That's nearly 100 miles per hour. Incredible. Let's take a look at it. That's the storm track direction northeast at 88 knots. Nearly 100 mile an hour. Unreal. Seriously, the weather in this area, guys, today, on the reel, which you can tell, it's very, very strong. So have one eye on the sky today at all times. All day long. Because as fast as these things are moving, they could be in your community very, very quickly. And you can see all these storms right here that the good guys and gals at the National Weather Service are managing right now. I mean, that's bigger than most. Look at that. If each storm were a student in a classroom, okay, look at it like this. If each storm were a student in a classroom and you had one or two teachers trying to manage all of these unruly students and make sense of what they're going to do next, that's what they're doing. And they're doing an awesome job, but I'm telling you, they've got a lot they're dealing with right now. Tried to keep everybody safe. And they're doing a phenomenal job. But these storms are hard to keep up with. Moving at 100 miles an hour. Woo! So that just tells you the state of the atmosphere right now in this area. Atmospheric instability is basically off the charts in some categories. Really is. Probably see large hail later. I mean, it's moving so fast, it's minimizing the tall lift. You know how storms can get up into the 50, 60,000 foot range? Well, these aren't doing that yet because they're moving so fast. I mean, they're probably leaning over backwards. If you were over here and could take a photo looking to the northwest, those storms are probably tilted to the south. They're moving so fast. Just crazy. Just had a question as to what would cause these storms to move at such an incredible speed. And that's an incredible question, you know. You guys are familiar with hurricanes? Hurricanes in the northern hemisphere? Believe it or not. And I'm going to stay on topic. I'm not getting off topic, and I'll tell you why. Rotating hurricanes are influenced by the North Pole. Did you know that? Cyclones in the southern hemisphere are influenced by the South Pole. Okay? The North and South Pole have what in common? They're magnetic. So would that imply that possibly a cyclone or a hurricane has a magnetic component? It would almost have to if it's influenced or drawn to the North Pole and the South Poles. So are thunderstorms that are moving to a northeasterly direction, maybe towards, even though we're not there, but they're moving towards the pole, right? It's like the energy's pulling the jet stream or this energy northward. Makes you wonder, right? Are they influenced by the magnetics of the Earth? I'm sure at some level they have to be. We all are. We all are influenced by the magnetics of the Earth. Absolutely. We are biological antennas is what we are, you know, in some definitions of our existence. That's what we are. Yeah, we're humans, I get that, but we're biological antennas. We send and receive energy 24/7. Absolutely. Okay, looks like, guys, we've got a new tornado warning. Where are we at? That's over in northeastern Louisiana now. Okay, real quick, I gotta go back to Louisiana. That's a new one. If I can get there. Yes, we can get there. All right. So now we're looking at Downsville. Okay, just went past Vienna. Boy, it's difficult to see. I'm telling you. These are very interesting storms. Okay, National Weather Service again out of Shreveport. Tornado warning at what time? 11:45 a.m. or until 11:45 a.m. Southeastern Union Parish, Northwestern Alchita Parish, and East Central Lincoln Parish at 11:16 a.m. Severe thunderstorms capable of producing both tornadoes and extensive straight line wind damage. We're located 12 miles south of Farmerville or 13 miles east of Ruston, moving east at 40 miles an hour. 40 miles an hour is quite common. That's not unusual at all. But they're advising people to take cover now because of the possibility of straight line winds through here. That was one of the components that, with this widespread storm component covering multiple states today, we could very easily see multiple power outages, and straight line winds can do that easily. In fact, we've had it happen out here in Arizona multiple times from thunderstorms when we get monsoons. Never really see tornadoes out here as a rule, but definitely see the straight line winds. Now there's one there moving east-northeast at 38 knots. I mean, that's something that we've seen a million times, 38 knots. Look at how long the track is of this storm here. See if we can get some data on that one. North-northeast at 62 knots. And that thing stretches for a million miles. Let's just see how far it stretches. Look at that. Wow, 75-mile track on that storm. Alrighty. So no tornado warnings right now other than north central Louisiana. But all of that energy is moving to the east-northeast. In some cases at a very rapid pace. 40, 50, 60, 70, 100. Pick a number. It's moving that fast. Some of the individual cells. So 2 tornado warnings right now on the map. The most I've seen so far today is 5 at one time. So far. So hopefully, no, there's going to be more. Based off of what we've seen, there's going to be more. Absolutely. I mean, just looking at the atmospheric instability here, that's what that tells us. That's what we go by. And there's a lot. It's reaching maximum potential there. Totally maximum potential. Here at hailreports.com. I don't see any new hail reports yet, but this isn't real time. This will definitely catch up later on as we move through the day. Right now it's showing the largest hail at 1.75, which is nearly 2 inches. There's the storm on the enhanced satellite over here at the GOES 16. And you can see this whole area here on the Mississippi, east of the Mississippi, including parts of Missouri and obviously Arkansas and, of course, Louisiana, where we're at right now. But this whole area, high winds extending from East Texas all the way up into New York. Yes, New York. In fact, let's look at the power outages map, see what we're looking like right now. Well, there you go. 20,000 right now in Texas and 19,339 in Louisiana. And there's still 58,000 customers without electricity up in Maine from the huge storm that went through there like 3 days ago. But they're just not used to that up there. But here you can see that the numbers starting to build. Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas, that's where the storms are at right now. And that's consistent with what we're seeing with regard to these winds, straight line winds, and even tornado activity in some cases. Whether it's touching the ground or not, I don't know. I haven't got any confirmations yet, but there have been multiple tornado warnings and just got a straight line wind warning for this area here in the area of Downsville. So it wouldn't be surprising if there weren't power outages here. They're going to be widespread all day long. And things you have to keep in mind, the good guys and gals that restore this electricity cannot go back out and do it until conditions are safe for them to do it. They're very good at what they do, and we're very thankful that they're out there getting the job done when it needs to be done. I mean, I know they're working triple time up in Maine to get the power back on, but they had so much snow and so many trees and branches were down. They have to be able to get to the lines that are down safely in order to get it back on, you know. So that any power outages in through here, they're not going to be able to get it turned back on until it's safe. You got high winds and things like that. The linemen can't get up in those bucket trucks unless the winds, I think, are below 25 miles an hour, which makes sense. That's common sense. Don't get up in those bucket trucks if it's windy. But the states that we're looking at today, with regard to severe weather, I'll show you over here at, there's the lightning. These storms are loaded with lightning. Look at that. Tennessee's starting to see lightning, and the storms aren't necessarily there yet in high gear. But oh, this area of lightning. The severe weather warnings, here we go for today. I've never seen the chart or the map look like this. Look at that. Incredible. And a lot of that is high wind warning. High winds. High winds in New York, New Jersey, Maryland, Baltimore, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Ohio, parts of Indiana, Tennessee, Kentucky, far northwestern South Carolina, western North Carolina, parts of Virginia, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, Missouri. Look at that. You can see for yourself there's 30 states on there at one time under some type of weather alert for today. Now, of course, the red is right now, and those are tornadic. You see red on here, tornado watch, high wind advisory, and that's going to be ongoing for most of the day. And you can see on here, look at the wind. Look at that. All wind. Look at that, covering multiple states. That's why I was suggesting that there could be a lot of power outages today, guys. Look at the wind field. Look at Ohio. Watch. I'm just clicking on any random place in Ohio. Southern Ohio. High wind watch. West Virginia. Here we go. West Virginia. Come on, baby. High wind watch. Let's go to Tennessee. There we go. Flood warning. Flash flood watch. Wind advisory. And look at all of Tennessee. High winds, just big time winds, rain, snow, a little bit of everything. You name it, it's probably happening somewhere today in the Central Plains, east of the Mississippi, the northern tier. There's a lot of lightning associated with this storm system right here that extends for a few hundred miles. And it's just getting started, guys. Just getting started, but the main tornado concern is Louisiana and Mississippi, mainly north central, but not limited to Louisiana and Mississippi, and then of course Alabama. Later on today, parts of Tennessee in the Memphis, Jackson area could see tornadoes today. Even Jonesboro, Arkansas could, and they just had one. Unreal. Let's go back down to some of these storms and see what they're doing now since this has been updated. This updates like every 3 minutes. 39 knots. That's more typical. Now that these storms are slowing down, you know how you can tell they're slowing down without looking? See the pink? We're getting taller echo signatures. That means the storm's getting taller. So that means they got to be slowing down, right? At least with regard to linear forward motion, the linear speed. So that storm there looks like it's getting up into the 60,000 foot range. Yeah, right there, 61, see? So now your large hail component just increased by a lot. And this storm is probably not moving super fast. Now, see there, it slowed down. 17 knots, which is quite normal for forward speed of a thunderstorm. That's about 20 mile an hour. So now you're seeing the height increase. You're not going to have that super tall supercell thunderstorm if it's moving forward at 70, 80 miles per hour. Physics won't even allow it, I don't think. Well, no, we just saw it. It wouldn't, because we're seeing small hail. Now we're going to probably start to see larger hail. Here's another signature here. That tells us the storm is slowing down and it's reaching higher up into the atmosphere, where it's colder, and that can produce large hail. The storm here, though, looks like it's moving along at a pretty good clip. Yeah, look at that baby. 65 knots. What is that, about 75, 76 miles per hour? Storm track northeast, 65 knots. But the ones that are starting to show the pink cloud tops, those are echoes off the top of the storms. Those are slowing down. So when they slow down, they can do more things. So they're starting to settle in. I don't see any storm warnings yet for Mississippi. I don't see any storm warnings for Alabama. Just saw one here up in the Kansas. Yeah, Kansas, Missouri. There's a small around Fort Scott. Nevada. Okay, I did not know that. Like I said, I learn something new every time I come on here. In fact, I enjoy it. We can all learn new things every day. Nevada, that would be, where is that, Missouri? I didn't know we had a, yes, okay. Nevada, Missouri. Nevada, Missouri, and Fort Scott, Deerfield, Richards have a thunderstorm warning in effect right now. Let's go take a look at it if I can get on the radar. I think I can. Watch. Let's go to right here, Springfield. Yeah, and that storm's slowing down too. When you see the pink on top, that means it's slowing down because it has a chance to reach to the higher altitudes. When they're moving along at like 90 miles per hour, no, they're not going to reach very high up into the sky. So Fort Scott, let's read this one here, expires in 43 minutes as it's moving through the area. National Weather Service out of Springfield, Missouri. Severe thunderstorm warning for, let's see, southeastern Bourbon County in, this is including Kansas, southeastern Kansas, and then northwestern Vernon County in west central Missouri until 12:15 p.m. That would be local time. Severe thunderstorm was located 9 miles northwest of Arcadia, or 9 miles south of Fort Scott, moving northeast at 30 miles per hour. It's very normal, producing winds of 60 miles per hour, quarter-size hail. See that all the time. Locations include Nevada, Richards, Stotesbury, Garland, Fort Scott, Deerfield, Hammond, and Pawnee Station. Winds 60 mile per hour, 1-inch hail. And that would be right here on the Kansas-Missouri state line. Moving to the north-northeast at about 30 miles an hour. That's about average. And that's where we're at with regard to that storm. That would be on the Kansas-Missouri state line, headed towards Nevada. And that would be Nevada, Missouri. Didn't know we had a Nevada, Missouri. But, dude, I didn't know we had an Atlanta, Louisiana. Atlanta, Texas. I didn't know that. Till today, there's also a China, Texas. Bet you didn't know that. Maybe you did. That looks like a strong storm there. Very strong. Headed towards Deerfield. That would be right on the line. Deerfield. I want to get it right here. Is that Missouri? Yeah. Oh, man. Yes, Deerfield, Missouri. Right above Fort Scott right now. Deerfield, Missouri is in the path of this storm. That's a strong storm. It doesn't appear to be tornadic, but it's a very strong, severe thunderstorm. Richards, Nevada is right on the edge of the severe thunderstorm warning area. That's a strong storm. It's a supercell. It's way up in the 60,000 foot range. So you can see large hail here quite easily in the Deerfield area, Richards area, probably seeing large hail at Fort Scott in that community. Not sure what's in this area here. It might be a rural area, but you can rest assured there's a pretty good possibility of at least tennis ball size hail there. Maybe larger because there's big time updrafts associated with those supercells, or they wouldn't be supercells. If there's a supercell, there has to be an updraft, or it just simply wouldn't be in existence. So with the updraft comes large hail. Sometimes, not all the time. It depends on the VIL. But that would be northwest of Springfield, Missouri. And that's a line of thunderstorms that's starting to gain momentum. It's getting stronger. It's feeling the atmospheric energy that's there. It's covering multiple states, moving towards the area of Archie, and that would be Archie, Missouri, Harrisonville, Drexel, Blue Mound, Parker. We're in the areas of the Kansas-Missouri state line right now, and that storm is basically straddling both states. The lower part of the storm is in Missouri. The northwestern part of the storm is in Kansas. And it's got a strong, severe thunderstorm from the north extending to the south edge in both states. Right now we're showing one tornado warning. That would be in north central Louisiana. Actually two now, just got updated. Another severe thunderstorm and a tornado warning, both brand new, issued by the, is this one it? Yeah, it's this one. Oh, that includes Monroe, Richwood. Looks very strong by Monroe right now, guys. If you're in the Monroe area or know anybody in that area, let's see how fast that thing's moving. 39 knots. That's pretty typical. On the quick side, but not 100. Okay, National Weather Service out of Shreveport. Tornado warning for eastern Alchita Parish in north central Louisiana until 12:15 p.m. local time. At 11:33, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Brownsville, Bauckham, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. Hazard tornado radar indicated. Possible flying debris. Move to an interior room or a basement. Areas near this storm will be Monroe around 11:40 a.m. and Swartz around 11:55, and that would be local time. Other locations impacted by this tornadic thunderstorm include Drew, Guthrie, Fairbanks, Millhaven, and Pine Grove, and all of those communities are in Louisiana. Right there, north central Louisiana, 2 tornado warnings. And the storm system's moving through Monroe right now. You got a classic bow going right there. And there's intake on the top end of that storm. That intake can cause rotation. Moving towards Swartz, Oak Ridge is kind of out of the zone, but it will be probably in the path of at least one, maybe 2 of these storms. Got one moving here, due east. And you've got these moving. They just added a new thunderstorm warning. Actually, a big one. Holy cow. Okay, so they're modifying this every minute, it seems like. Severe thunderstorm warning expires in 51 minutes. Now, this one was issued by the National Weather Service out of Jackson, Mississippi. So they're starting to pick up these storms now. National Weather Service in Jackson, Mississippi has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for Ashley County in southeastern Arkansas. This energy is moving to the northeast, actually east, at 60 miles per hour, producing wind gusts of 60 miles per hour and penny-size hail. Locations, here we go. West Crossett at around 11:45. That'd be in about 7 minutes. North Crossett around 11:50. Old Milo around 11:55. Hamburg and Fountain Hill 12 p.m. noon. Snyder 12:10. And Montrose 12:15. Tornado watch remains in effect until 8 p.m. Central Daylight Time for southeastern Arkansas. 8 p.m. It's another 8-9 hours. That's just how long that atmospheric energy is going to be there, which allows for the formation of tornadoes and severe thunderstorms. North central Louisiana. This is probably the 10th tornado warning issued by, there's another severe thunderstorm warning. Now they're extending to the east-northeast in the direction the storms are moving, so it makes total sense. They're moving towards the Mississippi River, going up the Mississippi River over into northern Mississippi, eastern Arkansas, and then eventually making their way up into western Tennessee. And then, of course, Alabama. All of this is going to extend through central Mississippi, central Alabama, north central Georgia. All day. Got many hours of this. New severe thunderstorm warning in north. That's on the state line. That's actually in southeastern Arkansas. Expires in 49 minutes. By the National Weather Service out of Jackson, Mississippi. Severe thunderstorm warning for southeastern Arkansas. That's a new one. This is a new one back here. Oh, is that a new tornado? No. Okay, that one expires in 4 minutes. That's good. Wow, a lot of activity. We're starting to see more pinks here. That means the storms are slowing down because they can reach higher up into the sky. They're not tilting over backwards as they're moving through the atmosphere. Just unreal. 103 mile an hour forward motion of a storm. Might have been a glitch, huh? You think it was a glitch? Here's another glitch. 67 knots. Must be a glitch. Not. Storm track northeast, 67 knots. About 76 miles per hour. That is a good clip. And there's a lot of them in here. A lot of these storms are moving very, very quickly. Average is around 30, you know, especially when you're talking about an energetic supercell, you know, or a thunderstorm. They have a forward speed of 25, 35, you know, even 40. It's quite common. 50 is not unheard of, but, you know, not super common. You get up above 60 and 80 and 90. That's rare. It really is. 56, you know, even that, I mean, it's compared to what we've seen is kind of average today, it seems like. Right now there's the hail. See, it's starting to get a little bigger, even though it's not huge. That's 3/4 inch, but that tells you the storm forward speed is slowing down a little. Monroe is starting to move out of Monroe, but right now it's directly above central Monroe. Western Monroe, it's kind of letting up a little bit. That's a very strong storm. They got a lot of rain right there. They are currently under a tornado warning issued by I think it's the National Weather Service out of Shreveport. A large and extremely dangerous tornado was located over West Monroe, moving northeast at 45 mile an hour. This is a PDS, a particularly dangerous situation. Hazard, damaging tornado. Take cover now. And that's in the Monroe area. And those are strong suggestions from the National Weather Service, and those guys know what they're talking about. So if you're in the Monroe area, Swartz, even Richwood down here, a large tornado was reported in West Monroe. Now we've got new tornado warnings. That's why they extended this tornado warning here, because of the large tornado in Monroe, Louisiana. And you can see the new red rectangle here that's been extended to the east, slightly northeast. I mean, this has just been an ongoing pattern since south of Shreveport, way back here. Tornado warning after warning after warning. Now we've got another new one. Expires in 1 hour. Jackson, Mississippi, National Weather Service. Tornado warning for Central Morehouse Parish in northeastern Louisiana. Northern Richland Parish, northeastern Louisiana. West Carroll Parish, northeastern Louisiana until 12:45 p.m. At 11:42 a.m., a confirmed tornado was located over Monroe, moving east at 55 miles per hour. And they're showing a damaging tornado, flying debris. The tornadic storm will be near. Start at around 11:55 a.m. Goodwill around 12:20 p.m. Darnell around 12:25 p.m. Other locations impacted by this tornado or tornadic thunderstorm include, but not limited to, Forest, Collinston, Marouge, Pioneer, Oak Ridge, and Epps. And they are advising people to take cover now in those areas. Wow. Big tornado spotted over Monroe right there. And that was confirmed. And that's why they've extended this tornado warning now. And you've got two overlapping each other. And that's kind of the trend that we've been seeing with regard to this line of thunderstorms. And this is one line of many that will be occurring all day. All day. So if you're in the areas of Collinston, Oak Ridge, Swartz, especially Monroe, hopefully everybody's okay there and was in a safe zone. Sounds like that was a big storm, or I'm sorry, a big tornado, according to the National Weather Service. You can see here the possibility of large hail in this area here and here. Oh my. Gonna be a busy day, guys. Here in Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Arkansas, need to have your alerts turned on your phone, or some way to get alerts. Keep looking to the west, southwest, northwest. That's the direction these storms are coming from. Some of them are moving at a very fast pace, but I'm starting to see a slowing trend because they're getting taller. So when they get taller, that increases the chance for large hail. I know there's large hail in the area of Richwood, or at least it looks like it on radar. And then rural Richwood. So I say a lot of those hail reports go unreported, There's more that don't get reported than do. Because a lot of this stuff falls in areas that are not populated, which is good, if we're talking about large hail. Okay, Monroe looks like it's pretty much in the clear, probably seeing some wind right now on the backside of this storm, and some light showers, but the main component now is over Swartz. They're like in a car wash right now. Sideways rain. Monroe, it just exited Monroe, and this storm is moving very fast towards Oak Ridge, Collinston. And these are all areas in north, central, and northeastern Louisiana. And the tornadoes are really piling up, at least the tornado warnings. And this here, they're talking about a confirmed tornado over Monroe, Louisiana. Monroe and West Monroe, and they're very well. It's hard to tell here because there's so much activity on the radar. National Weather Service said there was tornado in Monroe. This energy is moving towards Swartz. It's in the tornado warned area. I thought maybe they extended it, but they just overlap. Look at all the overlaps here. Collinston, moving very quickly towards Collinston. 43 knots. That's fast, but that's average for today. That storm over Monroe is one of the strongest I've seen so far today. It's moving towards Swartz. And you got a very strong storm that just went through Sterlington. And that would be northern Louisiana. Far northeastern Louisiana, not far from the Arkansas border. Maybe 30 miles or so, but look at that. There's a strong storm that just went through Sterlington. Wow. And it's in a tornado warned area. All of this area in red. Swartz, it's difficult to tell because there's so much density incorporated into these storms. It's you can't really see, not like you can on some storms. I mean, they're slowing down, which is going to enable us to get a little better read on these with regard to tornadoes. But boy, when they're moving so fast like this, it's just hard to get a read, a good conclusive read. National Weather Service is on it though. Big tornado by Monroe, Louisiana. If you know anybody there, maybe check on them, see what's up. Supposedly a tornado confirmed near Monroe, Louisiana. Now this energy is starting to get very close to the central Mississippi-Louisiana border. And you're looking at areas of like Anguilla, Rolling Fork, Yazoo City, Silver City, Luis. That would be East Louisiana, Eastern Arkansas, and Western Mississippi. Some of the stronger storms are moving into that area in just a very short period of time. I know all you people living in these areas have tornado plans, but I'd brush the dust off of them just in case you haven't gone over it for a while. Where are you going to go if a tornado comes towards your town? Take you about 15 seconds to figure it out now before it gets there, because these storms are moving fast and they're producing tornadoes. This is probably the 12th, I think, 12th tornado warning I've seen just in this area right here, and it's just getting started. So I'd go over a tornado plan just in case. What's the quickest way? Maybe position yourself in your house near your safe spot, you know, if you can watch TV or whatever you like to do, you know, during these times. I know a lot of us are, I'm not a big TV person, but you know, maybe you're watching TV, watching movies or whatever, but keep an eye on the weather alerts and be close to your safe spot so you can get there in a matter of seconds if you need to. Because these storms are moving fast and they're producing tornadoes. It's going to be like that all day. So be by your interior room, lowest level of your house, preferably with no windows. Basement would be perfect if you had one. Yep. Now this is extended up into, looks like, no, not quite into Missouri yet. Or I'm not sorry, Mississippi. Vicksburg is right on the edge of some of these very active storms. Lake Providence, Forest Pioneer, Oak Grove. Those would be communities still in Louisiana, northeastern Louisiana. And this stuff's probably just going to continue over into Mississippi, Tennessee, and then Alabama later on today. Actually, probably not too far off. There's already a lot of energy up over these states right here. A lot of lightning, heavy cloud presence. I'll check the power outages here in just a second. In fact, let's check the power outage scene real quick. It's not real time. But you can see a phenomenal presence of energy above Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Tennessee, Alabama, extending up to the Kansas-Missouri state line, parts of eastern Texas. But right now, this is where the majority of the activity is. So you can probably expect power outages scattered in those areas. Here's an enhanced satellite view of the area on the Ghost 16. And there it is. Just getting started. Going to be like that all day. Looking at hail reports, power outages. Let's see if we've got any updates. Yes. We now have 27,000 without electricity in Louisiana. 57K in Maine. Texas is up over 20,000 now at 21, almost 22,000. So between Texas, we've got Alabama now on the scene at 5,000. Texas, Louisiana, 49,000, 5,000 in Alabama. So we're looking at 54,000 without electricity now in 3 states. And that's due to these severe thunderstorms and possibly tornadoes. I don't know what the tornadoes have done, if anything. There was some confirmed, but that doesn't necessarily mean they touched down. So, and hopefully none of them touched down. That'd be great. So there was one confirmed in the Monroe area. And in fact, Monroe is still in a tornado warning. And you can see there's more energy coming towards Monroe now from the south. Unreal. So there was one confirmed. Whether it touched down or not, I do not know. Going to be a common trend all day, guys. The atmosphere is really juiced, especially in these areas. Very, very juiced. In fact, I'll show you one more time here at Venture Sky. There you go. It's atmospheric instability, just one component of the atmospheric instability. There's lift and there's moisture and wind directions that all play a factor that could create mesocyclones, tornadoes. And that's the case right here in northeastern Louisiana, moving over into the Mississippi area soon. Very soon. In fact, probably within the next 30 minutes or so. There'll be severe thunderstorms, or at least severe thunderstorm warnings, quite possibly crossing the Mississippi border. And that would be crossing the Mississippi River. Right there. Ole Miss. So it looks like, according to the cloud tops, the storms are slowing down a little bit with regard to forward speed. That doesn't mean they're getting any weaker. In fact, they're getting stronger, but their forward speed has slowed down some. Like we saw one moving at 90 knots. Here's one at 59 knots. That's over 65 mile an hour. 43, those are pretty common. There's one at 61. I mean, still, that's just really fast. 53. There's another one. Look at that. You serious? 72 knots. Storm track, direction northeast. Speed, 72 knots. It's 80 mile an hour. I mean, wow. Yeah. Be ready at a moment's notice in this area here, guys. And that includes central Louisiana. That's where these storms are originating from, and they're growing in strength and size down here in south central Louisiana, moving at a very, very fast pace. What's this one here moving at? 54 knots, just over 60 miles an hour over Nacogdoches, and that's moving at an east-northeast direction, so moving very fast. So Shreveport could see some more activity later on. But this activity here is about to cross the Mississippi River over into Mississippi. And then parts of northern Mississippi. Looks like it's getting a little stronger in Arkansas, right? Headed towards Pine Bluff. We'll check that out here in a minute. And then storms going into western Tennessee. The severe thunderstorm warning up on the Kansas-Missouri border has expired. No longer a severe thunderstorm warning. Heavy rain right now is on the menu up there. Down here, we've got severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings. We did have a flash flood warning, but that expired. But now that these storms are slowing down, at least with regard to forward speed, you'll probably see more flash flood warnings pop up because the storms aren't moving near as quickly. And you'll see larger hail. So what I'm going to do, guys, is take a little break and come back on when these storms move a little farther to the northeast. Give my voice a break. I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit, so I've been at it for an hour and 30 minutes, and I want to continue to do this as long as these storms are present on here, at least with regard to tornadoes. Like I said, if I can make a difference in one person's day, you know, it's time well spent to me. So let me give my voice a little break, and I'll come right back on here in a little bit, and we'll pick up where we left off. Not necessarily literally. The storms will probably be over in Mississippi, parts of Arkansas here in a little bit. So be ready if you're in those areas, because the storms are en route and they're coming very, very quickly, and they're very strong. So be back in a little bit, guys. Thanks for watching, and be safe out there.